Buenos dias. Good morning, Angie. As always, coming to you on Mondays with our Did You Know clip. So I am sitting in our newly renovated tech room. I'm gonna see if I can give you a little sneak peek. But there is definitely some high tech stuff in here. Um, we have screens turned off for privacy, of course. But anyway, if you ever are in the area, we're situated in Castleberry. Feel free to swing by and take a peek at it for yourself. So anyway, what am I talking about today? Well, earlier this week, I shared with you guys an article titled Five Shocking New Threats to Your Personal Data from IT News. And it had some pretty crazy stuff on there. So if you didn't get a chance to check it out, I'm going to repost it with this video. But I wanted to talk about two or three of these new ways of taking personal data. Just because they're quite scary and it makes you really think about how crazy technology is getting. So again, this is from IT News. The first one on there was your fingerprints can now be stolen from selfies. So what does that mean? It means that there is such technology now that allows hackers to take pictures, especially with the newer phones such as the i7, the i7s, the Samsung's S7 Edges. Those phones have a very good resolution cameras and built into them, and a lot of the other phones do as well. But with all of that being said, people are taking pictures of people's hands, and many times through zooming in, depending on where you are standing when you take the picture, they can actually take the fingerprint picture and have access to that. So be careful with that. The other alarming one was mobile apps. So we are all suckers for these awesome applications that do all kind of fun things, right? So we have applications that will take your picture and do it in a cartoon-like character. They have all kind of applications. The big thing here is to be careful with what you download. One of the cases that was shared on this article, and you guys can take a peek at it, is that one of the applications found in iPhone App Store called Mitsu, which transforms your face into surreal cartoon character images. Is actually based out of China, the developers of this application, and it was found, there was a big deal recently about how the personal data was obviously being sent back to a server in China. So just very, very careful. Many times as you download an application, number one, make sure that you take a peek at who the creator of the application is. Do your research before you do anything. Take a look at any reviews, and also as you download the application, it's always going to ask you for permissions to A, B, and C. Be careful with how much permissions, with what it asks. Many of these have options for you to skip, but the button to continue is highlighted, so many times we don't look that it actually does have the option for you to skip certain permissions and not necessarily give full access to everything before downloading. So take a peek at that. Make sure that you're being careful. The other thing on here that was pretty scary was that there are sites now out there that in the past you would be able to go on a website, put in personal information or put in a name, and then it would give you, some information like approximate age or, state of where people with that name reside in. So and then it would give you, like if you were looking for someone in specific, it would ask you to pay for, additional information. Now, websites such as Family Tree Now are offering users by simply entering a name and a state, access to information on individuals, family members, their ages, their current and previous home addresses, and this is all being done for free now, so people no longer have to pay. There is also another website on here, Truth Finder, for example, that you can actually again do a people search, but it'll ask you questions along the way, and these are questions presented to you in a way to help you get better results on your search. And many times people don't realize that this information is actually giving information out, volunteering information out to the developers and keepers of this data. So be careful with that. What can you do, you ask? Well, here are some recommendations from this article. Again, check it out, take a peek at it. But the first one on here was to sign up for a site called Have I Been Pawned? And according to this article, this site will alert you when personal information shows up online as a result of a hack. So very important, step to take. Second, you can make sure that you delete your profiles that should be inactive. So think about, if you have other Facebook accounts out there, if you have, I'm trying to think of what was before Facebook. Oh my goodness. How do I not know this? Anyway, you guys know what I'm talking about, but make sure that you go out there and delete any profiles that are no longer active. Make sure that sometimes some of these applications, there's no need to give, full disclosure on information like your date of birth. And so the article recommends disinformation, so maybe using fake information for date of birth and some of this other personal data that could hunt you later on. Make sure that you're careful with what pictures you take. It also tells you here not to get into heated arguments, especially with all the political stuff that's been happening out there on social media. It highly recommends that you do not get into any heated arguments with political extremists, etc. And last but not least, it asks that you go into Family Tree now and check out for your information and delete it. So a little paranoia goes a long way. That is a wrap. You guys have a beautiful week. And remember that network security for small and mid-sized businesses is Paradigm's specialty. So if you have any questions, I need you to call us at 321-248-3954. We're here to help. Thank you guys. Have a beautiful week. Go forth and conquer, and see you next time. Bye.